Okay, so if you want to trade the Nasdaq open around 4:30 or 3:30, depending on the season. So if you want to be able to do that, of course, you need to identify a few things, and all of them are simple. Anyone can be able to do this. The daily lows and the daily highs. So if you look on my screen here, I have boxes, right? These are simply showing me days. So this is today's Sunday, this was Friday, smooth, Thursday, Wednesday, and all that. So what the box is actually doing is showing me the daily highs and the daily lows and all that. These are nothing but structure. This is support and resistance, okay? There's daily highs and daily lows. But what you want to do, you want to pay attention to what actually happened before the Nasdaq Stock Exchange opened. Okay, you don't wanna focus much on the after. The after will just be you trading. You are looking at what actually happened before the Nasdaq Stock Exchange opened. That's one thing that you have to look at. Number two, you actually have to look at structure, which is basically, it could be your daily highs or daily lows, whatever the case. It could be just your long-term support and resistance. Let me just zoom in. I think I've highlighted some a couple of days ago. Okay, you can see here I have this one, which is the lowest from January, somewhere there, December, maybe. Let's see. Yeah, it's from last year, December. This low, okay, which is structure. And then we had these lows that were actually holding price. I think I shared this on the Telegram channel, the 7,000 level. So there's a link in the description down below. You can go ahead and join the Telegram channel. And if you'd like me to host online webinars this coming week, let me know in the description down below, and I will show you some of the things that you can add or rather incorporate with this particular system. But this is easy. It's basically you trading support, trading resistance. Nothing fancy, nothing hectic. I'm not gonna come out here and say there's something, and I'm not here to sell anything. I'm not here to sell you courses and all that. I'm just sharing the knowledge that I have on this part, or what I do rather on this particular asset. So all right, so here's another zone that I've marked. I believe we'll be sitting here in the upcoming week. We'll be trading around these zones, okay? Due to coronavirus, I believe we'll be somewhere around this particular region, okay? So this I've identified, the indicator I've identified daily lows and daily highs for me. I don't have to do that. But what we wanna do now is to actually look at where price is during the Nasdaq open, okay? Even if it's not during the Nasdaq open, you can still do this. You can still do this because these are daily highs, right? This system, it's, let me say, it's more suitable for lower time frames, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, and all that, because you'll be able to find nice signals, your pin bars, and all that. You can see on this daily high, there was actually a pin bar, okay, which was there even. So the daily high was already marked from. So if we're here and you saw a pin bar, obviously that was a good sell. So now that we are here, so let's say maybe we don't get a gap price still plays around there. A pin bar around this will simply be giving us a little bit of a buy. Okay, a little bit of a buy in that case. So this is how you can use the daily lows and the daily highs to actually find short-term trades. But do not just say we're sitting on the daily low or we're sitting on the daily high. Let me just say, remember what I did on Friday? We're sitting somewhere here and I said we're going to look for opportunities to sell, right? But the opportunity to sell was simply this. So if I was to see this on H1 or see this on 15 minutes from H1 going down, I was definitely going to go ahead and sell that particular asset. Unfortunately, I didn't get that, and I've said on the Telegram channel, check the link in the description down below. So that was just a simple thing. There was nothing weird. There was no weird strategy, putting a lot of indicators. Because let's face it, guys, simplicity is the best. Simplicity is the best. You don't have to say, "Hey, there's this strategy." I'm not gonna hype you guys about things that are not there. I'm not gonna lie to people. We are all in this thing. We are here to do the right thing. I'm not here to sell you dreams and tell you a lot of stories, because at the end of the day, you will lose money if I don't tell you the truth and show you what or how to actually do this thing in a correct way. Okay, so wait for a signal, and in this case just look for pin bars. That's what I can give out, because I'm going to keep this videos to a beginner's level. I'm not going to come to you with some weird stuff and some weird invasions. No, this is fine as long as you are on structure and you know where to put your stop loss. Oh no, no, if you trade without stop losses, the end result is you blowing the account. There's just no magic. I'm not that kind of a teacher who's gonna come out and say put with 10 lots and then don't put a stop loss. Because one day you'll make money, but the next day you will blow money and you'll have to fund. And given the circumstances that we're in right now, businesses are not going to do it. So if you don't have cash reserves, you might find yourself struggling in the next couple of weeks or months, because we don't know how long this thing is going to take. And so this is not the right time to gamble. This is not the right time to play with money, because I believe unemployment rate as well is going to skyrocket, because small businesses are going to suffer. They don't have big cash reserves, so they're going to suffer. They're going to shut down. They're going to close down. That's why they've tried to speak to the banks. They've tried to speak to the banks to remove, decrease the interest rates, so that it's a little bit much easier. But it might get even worse. It might even get worse to a point whereby companies, if you were to look at the share prices in the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, you will see that a lot of companies have lost trillions and trillions, or rather billions and billions of rands over the past couple of weeks. So it's still going to get real. So do not play with money. If you're trading a real account, make sure that you take um, risk management into account. So use stop losses, know how much you're willing to use and lose per trade. Okay. I'm not gonna show you videos of 100 lots without stop losses. That's not how I do it. I'm not trading a demo account. I'm not trading a weird demo account. So it's one of those things that I have to stress out. It's your money, guys. Take care of your money, because it's easier for me to say sell with this, and then when you blow, what do I do? Where do you find me? Do you go to the police and report? No, you will only struggle and say, forex is scam, this guy scammed me and all that. That's not how I wanna do this thing. Be realistic, put a stop loss. Back to the strategy, you are on support and resistance. So what you wanna do around 3:30 or 4:30, now 4:30, you wanna look at what actually happened. So around that, you could be looking at perhaps trend lines that were there. There was a trend line there. There was another trend line here. Okay. So, but this is not, before you look at trend lines, look at the daily highs. Very important. So basically it's easy. Let me sum up the whole system. If around 4:30 you are sitting on that particular region, obviously what you're going to do is sell resistance. If around 4:30 you're sitting around this particular region, what you're gonna do is easy. Buy support. But this is where everything changes. Wait for a signal. Wait for a signal. If you don't want to wait for a signal, okay, let me show you something. If you don't want to wait for a signal, let me use this day. Let me go to 5 minutes or 15 minutes. If you don't want to wait for a signal, at least wait for a trend line break of some sort. Okay, I'm gonna go to 5 minutes because it's gonna be much easier. Wait for a trend line break of some sort. As long as you can identify some sort of a trend line there, can you see that? Because this is almost towards around that time. That's why I'm saying if you wanna base this strategy on exactly 4:30, then you're gonna struggle a little bit. But this is not to say exactly at 4:30 you must do this, but check at 4:30 where you are sitting. if you're sitting on the previous daily high or daily low, you need to actually look at what actually transpired. Similar to this, if this is a downside to this, around 4:30, you're sitting around that region. So what you can use as a signal, it's actually a trend line break to go to the upside. But why am I saying we are going to the upside? Simply because we are on support, which was marked to be some sort of a daily low, daily high from the previous days. It could be even a um, higher time frame structure, and this was a higher time frame structure. Remember, we're looking at about the 7,000 region last week. Okay, between 7,000 6,900 and 7,000. That was a very nice structure. I've marked it. You can see these two lines here. I've marked it. Okay, so it's just simple. It's just simple like that. You look at where you are sitting with respect to the previous days, and then you wait for a signal. You wait for, if you love moving average. Okay, let me just do this to cover everyone. There are those who use a lot of moving average. Let's just put a set of moving averages. Let me just add another one. Let me just add, I'm just gonna use Fib numbers in this case. That 21 is part of the Fibonacci sequence. I'm gonna put 55 as well. There's nothing magical about this. Okay. So if you are one of those people who are comfortable trading with this, remember the trend, this is just simply showing you where the trend is heading. That's what you use the moving average for. But so with respect to this, you'd be looking at what is actually happening around 4:30. So towards this, where is price sitting? So you can see price went up somewhere around 4:30. Price was somewhere here. But was this the highest point? That's where the problem comes in. That's where you have to check where the highest point is. Don't just trade 4:30 or 3:30. Look at where price is. If price is nowhere near the highest, relax. It will go. If it has to, it will go to that previous high, looking for stop losses, mainly because it needs to look for stop losses before it changes direction. It needs to wipe out those who have stacked up stop losses around those levels that were created. Okay, but simply use support from the previous day or resistance from the previous day and all the previous days that you had. Okay, that's what you actually do around that time. So if you are using moving average, this is only going to guide you, or rather show you where the trend is. This is the trend that before that whole shandies. Because now you're on resistance. What you want to do is to go take out the buyers who were responsible for this trend. Because you're on resistance. There's no way that you will sell this resistance if these buyers are still uh, 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 pushing price to the downside. That's why I'm saying that wait for, identify a trend of some sort if you're comfortable with trend line breaks, and do that. Okay, so if we're to do this in the next day, let's say in the next day there was no gap, for instance, this, what we're going to do, obviously this is before 4:30, but definitely from the American session, some of this, depending on how you want to draw the trend line, use the equation of a straight line, that's still fine as well. Okay, assuming that there was no gap, I believe there's going to be a gap due to what actually transpired in Italy and all that. There's going to be a gap potentially to the downside. Okay, because that was not good news at all. That wasn't great. I believe the vice president of some country was being tested for coronavirus yesterday. That's going to add into to that as well. Okay, so there's just been a lot of breaking news around the COVID-19. So what you will do, let's say price was to trade around 4:30 on Monday. Obviously, this will be weird to use, but let's just use this. Let's say this was the 4:30. Because if I draw another box here, and then this will be irrelevant because price might have done something like this or done some weird thing. Remember, we want to look at what price have actually done before the Nasdaq open, okay, and where we are during the Nasdaq open. So it's before the Nasdaq open and during the Nasdaq open. That's actually how I approach this. So before the Nasdaq open, count what was happening during the Nasdaq open. Where is price sitting at? Huh? Do you see what I'm saying? Before, what was happening? During, where is price with relative to support and resistance? That's it. That's it. So if let's say this was during the Nasdaq open and we're sitting here on this low, of course we can't use this because the reason why the box printed like this is because this was a low. But let's say we're sitting somewhere here. What will you do? Will you rather buy or sell? Obviously, you want to look for opportunities to buy, but these are short-term opportunities. I have to state that these are not long-term opportunities, especially given the circumstances of this whole coronavirus thing. Okay, because there's sellers on H4, sellers there on 15 minutes. You can see sellers on 15 minutes and on 5 minutes rather. This is 5 minutes. You can see them by simply drawing a trend line and putting a moving average. You can see how open these moving averages are. They are still pointing to the downside. Okay, showing that there's still a lot of sellers. So what you want to do is to draw a trend line. Step one, best trend line that you can find. Check the most two recent points, the highest points here. There we go. This is the trend line that is housing all the sellers. So if we are sitting here on support, what do we want to do? We want to wait for this trend line break and buy. The only time you can use this trend line break as a signal to buy. So I'm referring to this trend line break thinking as a signal to buy. But remember the before, the during. This is the before to the downside. There was a bunch of sellers. But now that you're sitting on support, this is during. What do you want to do during that Nasdaq open? Okay. So if you are looking for opportunities to buy, don't just buy because you're here on support. Wait for a trend line break of some sort, and then there you go. Okay, that's how you can do it. This is the simplest thing that you can have. You can do this on different currencies. You can actually do this when trading your London breakouts. You can modify the London breakouts and send it. Although the issue of London breakout is a bit different, it's actually the opposite of what we're doing. I will share the strategy with you guys the next couple of days. So this is basically how we can trade the Nasdaq open around 1630 or 1530. I feel like I've been shared I haven't shared the strategy properly, but should you want me to clarify some points or do another video on the same system nicely and slow, or a much longer video, detailed video, please let me know in the description down below. I will only do the video if, let's say, if I can get 50 likes. Just 50 likes, I'm gonna do the video and a much detailed video, and possibly do a live trading video. We'll be actually doing this live in with real money, real account, and all that. Okay, so let me know. Put in 50 likes, then I will do another video just to let me know that indeed you are watching this and you are finding these videos helpful, because I take time to record this video. So that's how you can approach the 1530 strategy or 1630 strategy on Nasdaq. Otherwise, should you have any questions, feel free to send me a WhatsApp, Telegram message. Yes, and don't forget to like and subscribe and comment. If you think this video is crap, just more a dislike button. That's okay with me. Otherwise, all right, sharp, keep well, guys. Stay indoors.